folks, welcome back to another league with Temur Giants. Of course, this is the Invasion of the Giants concoction. We're playing Giants on Giants, and of course, Giants. We made a couple of changes from the previous list that I streamed. Number one is we added a second copy of Engineered Explosives over the second Veil of Summer. And besides that, we changed a Flooded Grove for the Cascade Bluffs that I was running earlier. The first leg went down pretty nicely with some cool stuff. The funny thing is we got to do the Live the Dream of Invasions of the Giants into primetime on turn 4 twice, I think. And both times we immediately lost right after. So one of those things, you know. You can't win them all, I guess. Sarah Angel, love it, love it. Oh, Radiant Archangel. Am I keeping this against the Lurrus deck? Probably not. Like, if this is Summer, we're gonna die before we get to cast the Uro, so this seems better. Bottom the Forest. It is Shadow. Well, this Remand is dead. Hola, Bifus. Todo bien, todo bien. Jugando un poquito con las cartas nuevas. I wonder if my opponent's gonna remand, take the Remand here. I doubt it, right? They did take the Remand. Okay. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Definitely a good one for my opponent to not know about. Opponent asks whether I'm streaming. You know it, I'm streaming. Opponent says hi, chat. Say hi to my opponent. Okay, that's dope. So they know about this one. Just fetch for Steam Vents. Good thing that this Inquisition is gonna fizzle. Legacy vibes, yeah. My opponent's playing a different format for sure. We're good with lanes, so we can bottom those. No new cards in opponent's deck, not yet. But it's impossible to get the new cards so far. Particularly the rare ones. Like the rares and mythics are pretty tough to get. The bots don't have them yet. Rental services are not renting them yet, so it is day one, literally, yeah. Will please draw a bolt? Got him. Joke's on you, opponent. Field of the Dead. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So I guess I want to play the Stomping Ground tapped and pass the turn. My opponent's missing land drops though. That's important. Were you looking for any other giants of the set? None of them are playable, which is unfortunate. There's no way my opponent has main deck counter magic, right? It just doesn't work well with Sprite Dragon nor with Red Horde Arcanist. Can we draw a prime time? That would be very good. Force of Negation. It's not very good. That sucks. So I guess am I tapping and drawing? Seems like such a waste, but like I flooded super hard here. Oh, now you show up? Could have cast you last turn, my friend. What are you even doing over there? Giant. God damn it. I don't think drawing a Cryptic does too much for me here. If this is a bolt, I'm 100% forcing this. That is just so much damage. I am not in good shape here. I am not in good shape at all. Yep, not in good shape. I'm just dead to the flyers, aren't I? Yep, just dead to the flyers. Okay, so Gus seems good. Soul Guide Lantern seems good. I guess Veil of Summer is okay. Fire Spout seems pretty good. Engineer Explosive seems very good. Okay, so these are the good cards. Now on to the bad ones. Force can probably go. Remand seems pretty medium. They do have Croxa though. Remand's pretty solid against... I guess it's not that solid against Croxa, never mind. Renan 6 sounds good. Growth Spiral sounds good. Bolt sounds very good. Bone Crusher is kind of medium. It's probably worse than Fire Spout. Jason Monk Sculptor. Let's do this. Maybe I am overvaluing the Soul Guide Lantern and I should be playing something else. Maybe I'm overvaluing the Fire Spout too. Let's do that. Yeah, we flooded a little bit too hard. An Invasion of the Giants helped out even, right? Like we bottomed a couple of lands, we drew an extra card, and it just wasn't enough. We need to find like a Neuro. If we had found a Neuro, I think we win that game pretty easily. Oh, now, of course. Of course, right after we flooded, we are met with the no spell hander. This hand sounds good though. Let's bottom Jace. No Bloodmoon to worry about, which is good. Whether if they have surgical, they may have surgical actually. Ooh, well, that's pretty sweet. Land is good. We won't land. Next turn we can Udo into Bolt. If they Thoughtseize or Inquisition my Udo, we just Bolt. What is this? Arcanist. Yeah, this is a pretty good sequence for us. Gonna get a basic island. I don't think I'm supposed to play around Force. We can technically... We can technically Udo here, which is kind of sick. Also, my opponent's mana seems to not be very good. Never mind. Mana's perfect. Cling by Udo. Brutal. Get rid of the cling. Am I playing around? I don't think I'm playing around Dispute. They could have Dispute. Doesn't seem super likely for them to have Dispute. Put the Arcanist on top. Okay. Boom. Pass the turn. Anything for AmuLIT and Kaldheim? No, so much love. Unfortunately, it was a weak set for AmuLIT purposes. My opponent having an entire turn and not doing anything, it's obviously great for us. We get Udo back next turn if we want. I guess we're one land short, never mind. Arcanist is good. Now the question is, do I want to draw this bolt? I guess I do want to draw the bolt. Dome you for 2. Can always grab some Mystical Attraction and play them just to win more. Yeah, or the land. The Simic sacrifice land. It's very bad. I mean, we technically can Uro here. My opponent is suspiciously holding up Steam Vents, though. They were very careful about how they tapped. I mean, I think it's just... I don't think I should pass up on this. My opponent showed me Cling to Dust as well, right? So... So they could have Gust here, which they do. I guess we still put that on the bottom. Gust was gonna get us anyway, right? Yes. I can get back. I guess we wait to see what they do. They probably get back the Thoughtseize because they know about the bolt in my hand. So I guess I just sacrifice this. Bolt means I have an answer to the Arcanist. That is indeed the wife. Okay, they had another Thoughtseize. I mean, 2 mana Uro, right? That's what the dreams are made of. I think I'm playing this for 2 and not cracking it. If you cast Bone Crusher Instance Power, does it get cheaper with evasion? No, it doesn't. Which honestly is just terrible flavor fail. Oh, come on. Second Cling to Dust. That's messed up, man. I don't want my opponent to draw another card for free. Okay, we're gonna need to draw better. No. Unfair. Unfair. And they even have the Unearth in the yard, so they can get back the Lurrus again. Disgusting. Disgusting. We're getting kind of owned here. Getting kind of owned here. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna wait until my opponent attacks. Because otherwise they can just like flashback the Unearth. So I have basically 1 turn window to answer this Dreadhorde Arcanist. Thank you for the follow, Meadowgrain. Another Soul Guide would be fine. Uro is probably the best to draw, as he often is. Oh, come on. Come on, opponent. So if we Uro into Soul Guide. Never mind. I was gonna say if we Uro into Soul into Soul Guide, we would have been fine. Maybe Primetime would have been a fine top deck. Yeah, maybe I should have looked at the top card. See, would have been a Primetime, maybe we were fine. The giant enchantment? No. It's too bad. If I wanted to play a control magic, I would play a good control magic, like Threats of Disloyalty, right? Or the sorcery speed one. Flavor fail. Yeah, unfortunately this is modern. The format is a little bit too... It's a little bit too much. Play Mistaken. That's what the wise said to the person who invented Jet Shadow. Yep. Probably playing against AmuLIT. Celandine of the Bitter Blossom. I didn't know that the fairies from Bitter Blossom had names. Is that a thing? Okay. Uh-oh, we're not playing against that deck. Let's keep this in. Seems potentially okay against the Lurrus deck. Well, seems to me like Mistaken is hammering. Force of Negation is interesting. Probably have to kill that guy. Seems to me like he kept a sketchy hand. So they're putting Lurrus in hand. They're not gonna be able, at least, I guess that they could. Second Force is not what I wanted to see, obviously. So I guess we play the fetch land. Because if he plays something that I can force, he's just gonna replay the Pure Steel Paladin though, which is bad for us. So we force this. One, two, three, four. If we find a fetch land, we might be able to get there. Or if we find a land, if we find a growth spiral or something like that. Cryptic. Okay. So let's get Steam Vents here. Mystic Sanctuary. Getting back Lightning Bolt. Yes. And I have to kill this guy. So what am I doing with the Cryptic? Like tapping? Bouncing Springleaf Drum? So I guess we are bouncing Springleaf Drum. Because otherwise I'm gonna have to deal with a Pure Steel Paladin, right? So... Hey Jackson Benny, thank you for the follow there. Okay. Now we can get back Uro next turn and we have Field to go with that. We can draw another Bolt to kill this. That means we don't trigger Sombos though. We could also draw Cryptic. I think I want to draw Cryptic. What's up, Patrico? I don't speak Polish, even though my last name is Polish, so I have no idea what you're saying there. I hope it's something good. My opponents say there's an urban myth that says that you're playing equipments in this deck. When I go to work? Yeah, sure, I got you, Stabs. Don't worry about it. Stay home. It just says hello, Fran. Well, hello to you, Patrico. Oh, this hand's very good. What makes this hand so good is that you don't need to use any mental energy to know that you have to mulligan it. So it basically saves you time. It's just a very, very efficient hand. I love to see a hand like that one. We're definitely keeping this. Yeah, I know basically just as much as Homer Simpson about nuclear power plants and stuff, so I think that should be enough to cover you. Am I doing this? I think I'm just bottoming the Flooded Grove. I want the fetch lands because they feed my Uro. Oh, the Russians. The Russians got this. You can always trust the Russians. You can always trust the Russians. Uh-oh. What is this mono discard deck? Yeah, I know, right? So they can't equip just yet. Yeah, we're gonna bottom both of these. Seems like we probably need another Bone Crusher or a Bolt type effect. Fire Spout would be okay too. You play AmuLIT can be much more difficult than this. Yep. Hammer is in play. Steel Shaper's Gift gets another hammer. Swing for 1. Field of Ruin. Dome you. Can I afford to play this Field of Ruin? Do I have to play this Field of Ruin? My opponent doesn't have another land, because otherwise they wouldn't have played Ingmoth, they would have played a White Source. One of their cards in hand is a hammer. So I guess that if they have land and either Cigar the Sade or the Paladin, I lose. But if they have the Paladin, I lose anyway, because they can just equip the Colossus Hammer to the Stoneforge and I just die. So I think I'm just gonna draw a card here. I think we have to just draw a card and hope that it's good. The most telegraph bolt in history, but I guess that I also kind of have to do this, like I don't really have an option. Joe the Uncatchable. Who's Joe the Uncatchable? Well, I'm obviously not gonna be vaulting this Stoneforge Mystic. Well, that's pretty good, right? Unless I'm missing something, that is pretty solid. We get to fully escalate the Fire Spout. We get to kill the flyer and the non-flyer. Let's go, chat. Let's go, chat. Sigarda's Aid. Yeah. I could kill this now, deny my opponent the mana. Seems reasonable, I guess. Because we're going to have Field of Ruin then. Or we can just draw another one. Yeah, let's just draw another Bolt. Man, this Mystic Sanctuary card is really fucked up, man. It seems pretty good. Maybe I am overvaluing it, but it seems like a pretty good card. This Uro guy is pretty solid too. Why is Judy uncatchable so uncatchable? Because no one tries to catch him. Nobody gives a flying fuck. Nice. That's basically me. Good. So you're basically where you want to be. You are exactly where you want to be. I think we got him, chat. I think we got him. Yeah. He says pure paladins in hand and never double white. Yep. Which is something that I should have said, because like I could have played a Field of Ruin in order to kill the Ring Moth, but it just seemed like Bolt was kind of doing the same thing, and also that, you know, it was likely for their hand to have a bunch of paladins that they were never able to cast, particularly because of how they played out the hammers. Like one of the play patterns that we saw when we were playing was you want to play it's like a balance, and like in different situations you want to hold on to the hammer so you can play them to Seaguard Assaid and you play them to draw a card off the paladins, but in some situations it's better for you to play out the hammers first so that your paladin comes into play, you already have Metalcraft, and then you can insta-equip before you give your opponent a shot of like pushing your paladin or like bolting your paladin or whatever. So even if your opponent does answer the paladin, you at least have another creature that's equipped with the hammer, and that poses a threat. So you're putting them on a squeeze where you have to figure out, okay, do I want to kill the creature that's wearing the equipment, or do I want to kill the paladin? But if you kill the creature that's wearing the equipment, that means that the paladin still survives and they get to equip again. So that's what makes the hammer deck so interesting, in my opinion. The channel where you're taking the font of Russian folk wisdom. Exactly. Well, we're playing against the turn 3 Emrakul deck, so hopefully we find the remand off the top here. That would be awesome. Can we find the remand? I should have looked at the fact that my opponent just mulliganed forever. Bingo. Well, this is why I chose to play this deck instead of something else today, so good for us. Bold you. That's pretty good. But we still can't really tap out here. Can this deck be called 3 of Tribal? Yeah, sure. It can be called whatever you want it to be called. All right. Guess I should have pitched the Euro. Yeah, I'm pitching the Euro now. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. My point is still kind of far from. Stomp you. Got him. Land. Violent Outburst resolves. I think that what we do is we just force of negation the Thibault's Trickery. Because if I remand, my opponent is right now in a situations where they can just like hardcast the second Violent Outburst and they just deal with the Thibault's Trickery. So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna exile the Thibault's Trickery for good, and then we just don't have to worry about it anymore. And now we can go ahead and progress our game plan. That's what my opponent was trying to set up there, by the way. They're trying to set up a situation where they have enough mana to like play and then replay. Ooh, that's a great draw. Good thing that we don't have to miss land drops anymore now. My opponent has 10 mana right now. Dome you. Oh, we can see my opponent's entire deck, by the way. See what they got going on there. 3 Emrakuls. Couple of Blast Zones. That seems like that's it. Valakut the Molten Pinnacle. That's cute. Okay, so I think I'm gonna play that guy. Like, my opponent's almost dead. Yeah, it's free for them to have Giganta. I don't know why my opponent isn't playing Giganta. Oh yeah, look at that. My opponent on the... Udo costs only 2. Absolutely broken. Well, this is just lethal here, so there's that. Even with Blast Zone, they just die to the onboard zombies. That deck doesn't sideboard? No, it doesn't. Basically, it hopes... The deck hopes that you don't know how to play against it. So that's why we're seeing it right now. It's because people, including myself, I've never played against the deck so far. So the deck kind of preys on folks not knowing how to play against it. Am I bringing in Ashiok? And just like start minusing on them? Is that an actual win condition? It seems like no, it's just hoping to luck suck, right? Because unless we mill exactly the Thibault's Trickery, it's effectively doing nothing. Yeah, so yeah, milling the Thibault wins. But like if every time that you don't mill the Thibault, you're just like losing basically, right? Yeah, people are having fun with their silly decks. I think it's cool. Punished for having flooded Grove and not the other one. I'm playing Evasion here because I'm gonna be trying to save the Gust for what's his name anyway. We can put both of these on top. I'm gonna be saving the Gust for the prime time anyway, right? So my Dryad, my opponent can resolve the Dryad here. I don't really care too much. Oh, that's right. Next turn, the Uro costs only 2. That's fine, though. Paying 3 for Uro is still a bargain, right? Opponent is playing the T-Ball's Trickery deck, but the sideboard plan that people are using now is to use Dryad. And, like, basically you sideboard into the primetime deck. So we're probably gonna see Primeval Titan here. Second Dryad. That's fine. Through the Breach is an interesting one. Search for Tomorrow. So my opponent's literally hoping to luck sack. Because now, if they do this, if they don't have exactly Emrakul, like, I'm gonna counter it anyway, obviously, but like, this plan is basically my opponent just hoping to luck sack. So now all of their Violent Outbursts are just dead draws. Opponent bottoms the Dryad, so that effectively deals with it, and they don't have Cavernous Souls. So if they try to go for Titan, we can just counter the Titan. So now we don't have to worry about instant speed anything anymore. Whoops. Titan would also be insane. Yeah, Titan would be good, but like, it's not game winning, right? It's a meme. It's not a good deck. It is not a good deck. Like, people are trying out different approaches to it, and I think that everybody's just having fun right now, but in the end, all it's going to come down to is that people are finally going to get tired of it. How they're going to realize that it is just terrible. Yeah, it's just like, there's some matchups that you literally cannot win. I am for all right now. Yeah, but you, every time, like, you have matchups that are a buy. Like, you have a lot of matchups that are a buy. And then you have a bunch of matchups that are a buy for you. Like, that match, we can't lose. Once we know that they're playing the T-Ball's Trickery deck, we literally cannot lose unless we're idiots. One was against... Oh, you played against Spike? Yeah, but he could have won very easily. It's just like, right now people are farming the fact that the deck is weird, so people don't really know how to play against it. So people are farming that right now, but it's gonna take like 2 days. People are gonna understand the interactions, and that's gonna be it. Like, you're not gonna be able to beat them anyway. You're not gonna be able to beat them anymore, is what I mean. So like right now you're gonna get your wins, 100%. You're gonna be able to get your wins against people playing blue decks. But as soon as people make the mistakes, that's it. You're not gonna get any wins anymore. You're just not gonna be able to beat them because your cards just don't do anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Aaron. Like, it is a deck that is going to just disappear because of its nature, I think. But yeah, it was one of those things that, you know, people are going to start getting comfortable and like, it's going to be all the hotness for like 1 or 2 weeks. Then people are going to get tired of losing play points because they lose the matchup lottery. Then people are going to start playing decks that are good against that deck. And then, you know, it's kind of like that kind of cycle. It's going to happen over and over again, basically. Pretty good drop. So we might be playing against black-green midrange, but black-red midrange, sorry, here. It could also be Jund, but they like fetch for a basic swamp super aggressively, so I doubt that's the case. So that kind of makes me want to fetch a basic island with this Calling Taunt right here. It is a little bit awkward because, you know, 2 of the cards in our hand are red. But if my opponent moons me, the difference between having 2 blue sources and just 1 blue source is kind of huge. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool that people are experimenting with the new cards, and it's a clunky combo deck. It's kind of weird. It's kind of cool. It's alright for now. If it turns into a problem, we can probably assess it down the line. People can ban anything if it's worth banning, but it's a force. I'm kind of into it. If my opponent slams a moon, I probably have to force it. So I'm just gonna get Steam Vent here. It's pretty sweet. So we're going... Both of these are kind of exciting. So my opponent has this turn to Blood Moon me. But even if they do, it's not the end of the world. Wait, they're splashing blue? Okay, so they're probably not Blood Mooning me, which is great. Yeah, Primetime's gonna be good. Okay, so I don't think my opponent... They're playing Death Shadow by they win turn 1 Bloodstain Mire for a basic swamp. What? Why? What's going on there? Like, they're playing Shadow, but they fetch for a basic on turn 1. That is really, really confusing. That's a big boy. Well, this sucks. Got the trophy in like 20 minutes? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess my opponent was like scared of me playing Blood Moon. I didn't miss Grixis Shadow. Deck was a house back in the day. Yeah, it's a fun deck. Well, we're gonna be playing Grixis Shadow soon, actually. Because we got a couple of Dono deck lists for Shadow. Okay. So I'm holding up Force in case my opponent finds a Thoughtseize. You have Stub. Wrecked. Youngblood, thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody from Youngblood's stream. We're playing some Invasion of the Titans here in Modern. This is the saddest timeline, folks. Always glad about the same. Yeah, thank you so much, Youngblood. How was your stream? What did you play today? Grixis Shadow Stand. I own it. Yeah, I own it in paper as well. I'm sending this bolt upstairs, right? I think I'm selling the bolt upstairs. They could have Stub. But that's fine. Like, I only have one red source anyway. You're killing me, deck. God damn it. If this were the Cascade Bluff that we cut for this flooded grove, we would have won this game easily. Oh. Oh. Yeah, we don't have 2 red, so we're just dead here. I do like Veil against Grixis because they have both discard and they also have access to counter magic, so makes a lot more sense in this matchup. Remand is fine against exactly Gourmet Angler. Force of Negation kind of sucks. Dispute is kind of interesting. Soul God Lantern is kind of interesting. Is this a dono? I built it? No, I built it. It's funny because like Spike streamed a very, very, very similar deck to this one today. The only difference is I'm playing Bone Crusher Giants and he wasn't. He had 4 prime times. The mana base is slightly different. I didn't cut a land, I switched a land. We had Cascade Bluffs in the previous league and we had Flooded Glow here. I probably want to go back to Cascade Bluffs though. The exciting part about Flooded Grove is that you can aura off of a single blue source, but like our deck just naturally has more green sources than red sources. So having Cascade Bluffs kind of like offsets that in a nice way. And helps us cast Cryptic Command off of our naturally drawn mountain even and stuff like that. Anyway. Do we want Soul Guides? They might have Croxa, but we didn't see the Croxa. Let's just go with this and we can reassess for game 3. Can also crypt off of Double Forest. Yep. But if you want to cast Invasion on 2, it's a lot more awkward. Though Flooded Grove helps us cast Growth Spiral. It's tough, right? Like there's a lot of... The mana base is definitely the hardest thing to build about this deck. The spell suite obviously is great. It's perfect, right? Like 3 of everything, so it can never be wrong. 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these. Sand sounds pretty good. Let's keep it. Why not 1 of Cavern? I literally just said that the mana costs in the decks are super steep. We already have 3 colorless sources. We don't want to add many more. And even the mountain is basically a colorless source. Like the mountain doesn't cast Growth Spiral. It's not your fault, Grar. Everybody is too greedy with their mana bases. Honestly, this mana base might be too greedy as is. Maybe I can't afford to play Field of Ruin, honestly. I am not discarding the possibility that we simply should not be playing that. Can't believe the turn to Ren Life. The turn to Ren Dream. Seems like we're gonna get fetching for basic. That is so confusing to me. That is so confusing to me. Why are they doing that? Doing this main phase to play around Stubborn Isle. Why are they fetching basics? It makes no sense. Should I just play a random 4-3? Nah. I mean, I'm not using my mana otherwise. Let's just play a random 4-3. Just like put the 4-3 into play. We're not going to be attacking with it, but I'm just going to put it into play. Because next turn we can Jace through Stubborn Denial. And on the following turn we're setting up Prime Time. Snap resolves. Okay. So you assume my opponent's gonna be attacking Ren. Yep. Pog. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Bolt my Jace. Sure. Not playing Angler. Or yes, playing Angler. Tapping out, you say, huh? Tapping out, you say. That was a great Jace. Jace OR. Opponent just played Jace OR. With some memes. Alright, Stabs, thank you so much. Have a good one. Have a great day. Yeah, I mean, not stubbing the Renan 6 is defensible, but on the other hand, like, it's just perfectly fine. Like, I literally just won the Renan 6 to make sure that I hit the line drop. I'm gaining 5 life in the process, which is also dope, but I literally just won the Renan 6 to make sure I hit the line drop, and once I do, that's fine. Hey, nice, Newton. How's it going? Yeah. Just resolving prime times. Don't mind me. I'm just out here resolving Primeval Titans. My opponent left in Fatal Push. They left in Fatal Push. I think this setup is fine. Can I use my choose the deck points for a table Trickery League, or is it a meme deck? It's definitely a meme deck, Hudson. It's a meme deck that might win, but it is a meme deck. It's basically gambling, right? What's up, Hitlex? How's it going? You're gambling that you're gonna get good pairings. And if you do, you're gonna 5-0. And if you don't, you're gonna 0-5. But I don't think we had really seen any... It is probably like the most lopsided deck that we've seen in a really long time. It's matchup roulette literally, yeah, 100%. Yeah, this hand's bad. Even our mana is just terrible with this hand, so I'm just gonna ship it. This is better, but not by a lot. Seen people using Misty Sanction to actually combat counter spells. Yeah, but you can't really do that very effectively. Yeah, people are definitely trying things out and they're innovating and stuff, but that doesn't make the deck good, right? One Veil of Summer. Why ever play any more? That's all you need. Just one Veil of Summer. Never need any other thing. It is a turn to Angler, though. No Angler. Sweet. Hold up Remand or play Rain into Stubborn Denial? Hold up Remand. This time around, my opponent is not aggressively fetching for basic swamp. Definitely can't ever be tier 1 because Cyberlane against it is super easy because they literally can't play cyber cards. Yeah, people are messing around with different like meme sideboard configurations, I guess. What am I doing here? Am I remanding this? I don't think I'm remanding this. Mana leak. Not playing around. Not playing around, what's his name? Wow! They top deck this Street Wraith. Wow, that's insane. They immediately top deck this Street Wraith. That is hilarious. Again, this is Red and 6 reads hit target land drop. that's what we're doing here. Hit target land drop. And I think that's perfectly fine for our purposes. Remand is so bad against Shadow. God damn it, it's bad. Why Remand? Because if my opponent, like the card is just awful, and if my opponent doesn't, play anything else, They can play around remand for the remainder of the game, and I can never cash in the card, and I'm just left with a dead remand in hand. Like I need something to remand, right? So that's what that was. That was just like a target I can remand. Opponent kills the rain, that's fine. Gain 6 life, hit a land drop, sounds good. You give them the choice of taking Cryptic or the unknown card that could be better. Again, if I don't do that, like if I know that Remand is a good card in the matchup, I would never do that, right? If I'm playing in a control mirror or something, if I'm playing a control mirror, I'm not doing anything. But like this allows me to dig deeper into my towards my Uros, right? I have Uros in my deck. This digs me deeper towards Uro. Am I getting Veil back here? Yeah, I'm playing the Saga. I'm just very unlucky. I never draw it. I guess I can make the decision later. One card left in hand. One card left in hand. Can we find a Nuro, please? Pretty please. No, this is game 3. I don't think my opponent's going to have TBR in their deck. Clap. Do I want to draw Veil? I think I want to draw Veil. Big Pog. So now we Udo with Veil. So Island. And I guess we're getting back Cryptic. So we can use it next turn. We have enough mana to Uro plus Cryptic, so this should be good. Green. Green, green. Nope. Blue, green. There's Cryptic command. Now we pass the turn. I think my opponent last card in hand is a Stubborn Denial. So it's Stubborn Denial plus... I don't think I'm supposed to block here. I think I'm taking it. If their last card in hand is a Bolt, we lose. But if it's not, we just win. It's not. Okay. Clap. 3-1. Playing against Grixis Shadow is always exciting. It's pretty tough to have a bad game or a bad match against Grixis Shadow. The games are always so close. Who was the loss in round 1? I have no idea. Don't remember. You can see the 4-1 right in front of us. I mean, if we can get this deck to be an 80% signature. Basically, if I go 80% with this deck, it just becomes a signature deck of the stream, of course. Larry Legend, 4 mana, 6/6, okay? We're playing against House. He says Monkeyes. This hand is not very good. If I had a fetch land, maybe I would consider it, but he says the one time I don't try Q sniping. I think we're shipping this hand. Speaking of 4-1, have you get the Master of Modern Challenge? Any more thoughts? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it. It just sounds like fun. I'm not gonna do it right now because like there's new cards and I'd rather be like, you know, trying new things and seeing whether the new cards are working out. But once Kaldheim becomes more available and it's a little bit more established and people know what the decks are and whatnot, once that happens, I think I'm gonna give it a shot. No green source. Subface. That's bad news. That is very bad news, actually. So, House would need Bounce Land plus Titan. Wow, AmuLIT, how creative are you, House? Smiles. Thank you for the follow. Where are my green sources, man? I'm gonna Invasion right here. Next turn I can Spiral plus Remand. If Howl has the Titan here, I'm just gonna pack it in, but if he doesn't have the prime time right here, then we have a shot. But I don't think we're gonna have a shot if we continue missing our colors, right? I guess I assume that House is playing Karn. Yo, Wraith of Yama. Welcome, Yama. Welcome, everybody from Yama's stream. We're playing some Invasion of the Giants, Temur, of course. Classic archetype. Classic archetype. How did your stream go, man? What do you play? Sure. So I'm keeping this hand. I'm basically remanding anything and everything. Slothy boy. Went to 2 in a prelim with mono white taxes. Wait, what? Why? Why? Why did you make yourself play mono white taxes? What's your problem, man? You like that playing taxes? That's cute. Well, fuck me, I guess. Used to play the log like in like 2017 and 2016 and a bit of 2018. Oh, nice. I didn't know that. I assumed you were playing like you were just playing scales back in the day. I wasn't aware that you were also a Taxes memer. Texas gamer. Both sanctuaries in our hand. Feels bad, man. Yeah, I appreciate the attack. I've had poses of mono white, red white, green white, and black white taxes in my day. Wow. That's funny. Learning a little bit about Yama history. I guess that we can draw a growth spiral, so I don't want to fetch just yet. Well, that's awful. House never missing an attack. I respect that. That Karn is gonna fuck us. Unless I draw something here. That counts as something. I could have Mystic Sanctuary at Remand, but I'm not sure I want... Like, I want to continue digging into my deck for now. I don't know if this Mystic Sanctuary is going to be better off getting back Cryptic Commands. Or getting back Aether Gusts, considering House already has the Cavern in play. Why not play Mystic to Cryptic Lock? Seikoth, like, the Cryptic Lock is probably the single most overrated thing in all of Modern right now. You need many things to have the Cryptic Lock going. I don't have the Cryptic Lock going. It's not like you just find Cryptic and Mystic Sanctuary, oh cool, like that's it. We have the Cryptic Lock going. That's just not how it works. You need a source of recursive cat advantage that costs no mana. So you don't have the Cryptic Lock until you have assembled Udo plus, or like Jace, or you need something else. That counts as something else. That does indeed count as something else. So now, yes, now I could be assembling the Cryptic Lock. If I manage, like if a house doesn't have Bog, of course. Because if he has Bog, then, well, he has Bog, right? We need something else. Udo enters chat. Yeah, I know, right? I just said Gust. Yay, in the chat. Exclamation point blue. Okay, they put Titan on top. Jace. So the awkward thing here is... Well, I mean, I have another Gust. Let's just put the Uro into play. Now, I think that this is just better. Like, how does House play through this Aether Gust? And I'm a Luxac, so I, of course, drew the land that I needed. Like, if I time walk House with an Uro in play, that seems pretty good for me. Like, I want House to repeat, to make the same turn happen again. Like, I actively want him to do that. Incoming Grape Titan, a new hot take against Gust. I mean, that would get me. House can't cast it with his current mana situation, but, like... So now if he has Karn, we just Cryptic. If he's gonna go for the Titan again, we just Gust it. And we make sure that House doesn't have fun. Like, you have to make sure that your opponent is not having fun. Like, if your opponent is having fun, then you are the one that's losing. So it is extremely, extremely important to make sure that your opponent doesn't have fun. It's very, very important to make sure of that. So this time around, he bounced the Cavern. Which probably makes me think that he made a mistake last turn. Okay, he doesn't want to play anymore. We did see Karn, so obviously rejection is going to chill there. I think that's it. Explosives for AmuLIT, but nah. We have Cryptic Command. He was never going to be able to cast the Titan. Well, I mean, he was going to be able to, right? But it was just going to get... He was never going to be able to resolve the Titan. But he can cast the Titan all he wants. Cryptic Lock overrated. I mean, you understand what I meant to say, right? Like, it's not as easy to put together as people think. Like, people overrate how easy it is to put together. Like, you understand what I'm trying to say. Don't mess with me. The Gust Lock, yeah, I know. Giant Tribal Control, exactly. That's what we're here for. It's a pretty fucking strong start, I'm gonna tell you that, though. That's a pretty damn strong start. Sad face. Can we please hit a land drop? So this is what it's going to be about. Like, if we hit our land drop, we're probably going to be ahead. If we miss our land drop, we're probably going to lose. That's all it comes down to. So land drop here. Easy. And now we're going to see another land off the top here. Blue source. Told you. Both of these go down. We need something better. Godly. Growth Spiral is kind of stupid. It is a pretty messed up card, yeah. It's so innocuous too, right? When I saw Growth Spiral in the spoiler, I'm like, like it's okay. It's basically an Explore that's harder to cast. And then you put it in a control shell and it's just like, holy shit, that's good. It's super unassuming. Yeah, for sure. Tapping all of the Manuses. Gusting all of the Titanses. Put the Titan on top. Can we find an Ashiok, please? Okay, so we have two options here. We have the Laxac option. We have the Hopeful option. So option number one is to Uro into hope that we find Edegust. Option number two is to Jace plus and bottom the Titan. If I Jace plus and House has a second Titan in hand, we lose. Like we straight up lose. But I guess that if he has a second Titan, we lose anyway, right? Can we beat a second Titan? Yeah, I mean, the only way that we beat a second Titan is if we Luxac. If we Luxac Uro into Aethergust, that's the only way that we can beat a second Titan. Yeah, I think that we just have to Jace and we just have to hope that House doesn't have a second Titan. Put the bottom, yes, and we're making very clear that put Primeval Titan on the bottom. Yes, we will put it on the bottom. And now we just pass the turn and we have 6, and we hope that House doesn't have it. The good thing about this is that if this works, we probably win. So that's the biggest upside of going for this line. It's the fact that if this actually, if this is good, which it is, okay, so we probably just win here. Because now we're able to find the Gust. We're going to be able to put the Uro into play. We can even beat down with this silly Bone Crusher for good measure. Do we want to do that? Nah. I guess I should have brainstormed first before doing this. Yeah, I should have brainstormed first. Like, I fucked up my sequencing here. Hello there. We did hit our land drops. I think we're good with this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means that we get to Titan and we get to hold up. Yeah, this seems good to me. Now we pass the turn. So if House has Karn, we're fine. If House has Prime Time, we're also fine. Yes. The time has come. Respect the Gracer. Respect the Gracer. I'm gonna show you my Titan house. And now we've been in this one a couple of times already. We've been in this position before. Pog. So we throw that and that. Play this. More Sombos. Pass turn. House found Karn. Honestly, I think that all of this that's happening to House right now, it's because he has the wrong Ghost Quarter art. So honestly, if we think about it, House deserved it. What is this? What is this? Ugh. Come on, House. Get your shit together, man. Alright, 4-1. This deck's dope. Have the new cards been good? Honestly, Invasion of the Giants has been kind of great. The Scry 2 has been super relevant. The extra draw has been pretty solid. And the cheaper giant happened a couple of times. It was never like insanely relevant or anything, but like it allowed us to do some explosive turns. I think that every time, like, we're just playing a control deck, right? So like every time that we went for like the fast Titan thing, I think we lost every single time. It happened like 2 or 3 times, and we lost every single game we went for that. But it seems powerful. Like Bone Crusher has been kind of impressive. Just this stupid 4-3 is just kind of legit. The only time where it wasn't impressive is when my opponent was able to kill it to go down to 1 and beat me for Xaxis with her Death Shadow. So that time wasn't so good, but you started Protexus and you became the one thing you started to try. Yo, I'm playing Primetime. House, chill, okay? It's okay. It's okay. I'm playing Primetime. It's fine. Don't worry about it. The opportunity cost on the saga seems really low. I mean, this is a sorcery speed preordained, right? So it's not... I mean, it's not free. Like, this is basically a harder to cast... It is a harder to cast Omen of the Sea. It is a harder to cast Omen of the Sea. But I think that the making the front side of Uro, this is basically where I got the value the most times. Just casting the front side of Uro. You're playing a 4 Uro deck, so you basically turn in Uro into Growth Spiral, which is fine. Like, it's just okay. But the mana requirements of the deck are steep. The mana of the deck, the mana requirements are steep. I don't think there's any arguments there. So I don't think we're going to be playing a second Triome. Spike was playing Reflecting Pool either, which is kind of interesting, but at the same time, like the whole point of playing a card like Flooded Grove is precisely because you can have like Island, like you can have Island Mystic Sanctuary. You can still get back your Udo. Like that's the point. If this were a Reflecting Pool, then that's not what we got anymore. Was Crusher worth it? It did seem worth it to me. A couple of times it was worse than Lightning Bolt. It was exactly against the Dreadhorde Arcanist, and exactly against the 2-mana 1/3 that you discard a card and you exile. I forgot the name, and you basically draw a card. So we played against those two cards, and in those spots exactly Channeler, yeah, Magmatic Channeler. So against those two specific cards, I felt like Bone Crusher kind of slacked a little bit. But on the other hand, we were able to like just play an aggressive, basically like a 4/3 Bone Crusher, and it would like jump in front of a Death Shadow, which would otherwise would have killed us, or like Bone Crusher, like 1-mana 4/3 against like the aggressive decks, and it's just like a dude that comes down into play, you know? So maybe the correct split is this. Maybe we should be doing 4 bolts, 2 Bone Crushers. But I think it's been good enough. This deck definitely wants 4 Udos. I wonder if we want to split between Romance and Mana Leaks. I'm not super sold on Remand right now. It's funny how like Remand is both amazing and terrible. Like if your opponent has Udo or like Gurmagangler, which nobody plays Gurmagangler, but we managed to play against Gurmagangler today. But like if your opponent has like Udo or something like that, then Remand is obviously amazing. And Mana Leak is not so good. But on the other hand, like you get paired against Hammer, you get paired against Burn, which has seen a pretty important uptick. You get paired against any Shadow deck, and like Remand is just laughably bad. So it is awkward, right? It is awkward. If I were to cut the Romance, it would be for Mana Leaks though. I think like this spot is pretty important right here. Feel like Lick is better. I'm not sure that it's better, but I think that we could make a split. Something like this. 2 leagues to Remand. Kind of just to have more options. Jace is definitely the most awkward card, but at the same time, like Jace is kind of gross. Like we just got paired against House and we just rolled him over with Jace, so not playing anything with Forte to play around 8 rack. That's a good tech. That's a good tech. No, I'm not. Yeah. How can we fix this land? I feel like this land wants to be something else. Purely talking metagame calls here. Wow, you're super ahead of the curve, Ter. Just like metagaming against 8 rack. 25 years from now, when 8 rack is finally tier 1 again. Turduken LOL, thank you for the follow. 4-1 or 3-2, had to walk away for a second. We 3-2 the first league, with 4-1 just right now. A will be tier 1 in 25 years. Yeah, make sure that you invest in your copies of the rack. Make sure you get the OG ones. Don't get the time spiral ones, because it's not gonna get printed for a while for 06 lol. So Hinterland Harbor, fine. Eh. Well, the main thing is that I want to have access to maybe one more red source. Make it a triumph. I don't think I want a second triumph, because I never want to fetch for the second one, right? I am a Field of the Dead deck. So I basically don't want to have Triumph, and it's an ETB tap land, so you're incentivized to fetch for it aggressively. Like, this is an Escape Shift, where we are a Field of the Dead deck, so... Temple of Abandon. God damn it. Mountain taps for red. We're playing Mountain already. One step ahead of you, Ifena. Reflecting Pool. Yeah, I already answered why I don't think that Reflecting Pool is where I want to be. I think it's Cascade Gloves. It doesn't really help us cast Udo. We didn't have that much trouble casting Uro though. We did have trouble double spelling with our red spells though. So we added more bolts. Remand, split with leak. The rest of the main deck seems kind of fine. The sideboard is definitely on the sketchy side of things. But I honestly, I just don't know what I want to target. I don't know what I want to beat. Any chance it's Sulfur Falls? No, I don't think so. The problem with a card like Sulfur Falls or Hinterland Harbor is that we have a lot of non-mountains. Like, all of this don't really help your Sulfur Falls enter untapped. All of this right here. Oh, I guess this one's do. Never mind. And this one does too. Never mind. I guess it's not that many. Could be okay. What else does the deck need? What else does this deck need? Nothing really, it's perfect, right? It's just perfect. Alright, I think I'm gonna have time for one more league. That's gonna be it for this one though. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button. See you in the next one. Bye bye.